Tyler does 198 sit-ups. 199. 200. Tyler's wearing a sort of gummy flannel bathrobe and sweatpants. "Get Marla out of the house," Tyler says. "Send Marla to the store for a can of lye. The flake kind of lye, not the crystal kind. Just get rid of her." Me, I'm 6 years old again, and taking messages back and forth between my estranged parents. I hated this when I was 6. I hate it now. Tyler starts doing leg lifts, and I go downstairs to tell Marla, the flake kind of lie, and I give her a $10 bill and my bus pass. While Marla is still sitting at the kitchen table, I take the clove cigarette from between her fingers. Nice and easy. With a dishcloth, I wipe the rusty spots on Marla's arm, where the burned scabs cracked and started to bleed. Then I wedge each of her feet into a high-heel shoe. Marla looks down at me doing my Prince Charming routine with her shoes, and she says, "I let myself in. I didn't think anyone was home. Your front door doesn't lock." I don't say anything. You know, the condom is the glass slipper of our generation. You slip it on when you meet a stranger. You dance all night, then you throw it away. The condom, I mean, not the stranger. I'm not talking to Marla. She can horn in on the support groups and Tyler, but there's no way she can be my friend. "I've been waiting here all morning for you." Flowers bloom and die. Wind brings butterflies or snow. A stone won't notice. Marla gets up from the kitchen table, and she's wearing a sleeveless blue-colored dress made of some shiny material. Marla pinches the edge of the skirt and turns it up for me to see little dots of stitching on the inside. She's not wearing any underwear, and she winks. "I wanted to show you my new dress," Marla says. "It's a bridesmaid's dress, and it's all hand-sewn. Do you like it? The Goodwill thrift sold it for $1. Somebody did all these tiny stitches just to make this ugly, ugly dress," Marla says. "Can you believe it?" The skirt is longer on one side than on the other, and the waist of the dress orbits low around Marla's hips. Before she leaves for the store, Marla lifts her skirt with her fingertips and sort of dances around me on the kitchen table, her ass flying around inside her skirt. "What Marla loves," she says, "is all the things that people love intensely and then dump an hour or a day after. The way a Christmas tree is the center of attention. Then after Christmas you see those dead Christmas trees with the tinsel still on them, dumped alongside the highway. You see those trees and think of roadkill animals, or sex crime victims wearing their underwear inside out and bound with black electrical tape. I just want her out of here." "The animal control place is the best place to go," Marla says. "Where all the animals, the little doggies and kitties that people loved and then dumped, even the old animals, dance and jump around for your attention, because after 3 days, they get an overdose shot of sodium phenobarbital, and then into the big pet oven. The big sleep, Valley of the Dogs style, where even if someone loves you enough to save your life, they still castrate you." Marla looks at me as if I'm the one humping her, and says, "I can't win with you, can I?" Marla goes out the back door singing that creepy Valley of the Dolls song. I just stare at her going. There's 1, 2, 3 moments of silence until all of Marla is gone from the room. I turn around and Tyler's appeared. Tyler says, "Did you get rid of her?" Not a sound, not a smell. Tyler's just appeared. "First," Tyler says, and jumps from the kitchen doorway to digging in the freezer. "First, we need to render some fat." About my boss, Tyler tells me, if I'm really angry, I should go to the post office and fill out a change of address card and have all his mail forwarded to Rugby, North Dakota. Tyler starts pulling out sandwich bags of frozen white stuff and dropping them in the sink. Me, I'm supposed to put a big pan on the stove and fill it most of the way with water. Too little water, and the fat will darken as it separates into tallow. "This fat," Tyler says, "it has a lot of salt, so the more water, the better. Put the fat in the water and get the water boiling." Tyler squeezes the white mess from each sandwich bag into the water, and then Tyler buries the empty bags all the way at the bottom of the trash. Tyler says, "Use a little imagination. Remember all that pioneer shit they taught you in Boy Scouts? Remember your high school chemistry?" It's hard to imagine Tyler in Boy Scouts. Another thing I could do, Tyler tells me, is I could drive to my boss's house some night and hook a hose up to an outdoor spigot. Hook the hose to a hand pump, and I could inject the house plumbing with a charge of industrial dye, red or blue or green, and wait to see how my boss looks the next day. Or I could just sit in the bushes and pump the hand pump until the plumbing was super pressurized to 110 psi. This way, when someone goes to flush a toilet, the toilet tank will explode. At 150 psi, if someone turns on the shower, the water pressure will blow off the shower head, strip the threads, blam. The shower head turns into a mortar shell. Tyler only says this to make me feel better. The truth is, I like my boss. Besides, I'm enlightened now. You know, only Buddha-style behavior. Spider chrysanthemums. The Diamond Sutra and the Blue Cliff Record. Hari Rama, you know, Krishna, Krishna. You know, enlightened. Sticking feathers up your butt, Tyler says, does not make you a chicken. As the fat renders, the tallow will float to the surface of the boiling water. Oh, I say, so I'm sticking feathers up my butt. As if Tyler here, with cigarette burns marching up his arms, is such an evolved soul. Mr. and Mrs. Human Butt Wipe. I calm my face down and turn into one of those Hindu cow people going to slaughter on the airline emergency procedure card. Turn down the heat under the pan. I stir the boiling water. More and more tallow will rise until the water is skinned over with the rainbow mother-of-pearl layer. Use a big spoon to skim the layer off and set this layer aside. So I say, how is Marla? Tyler says, at least Marla's trying to hit bottom. I stir the boiling water. Keep skimming until no more tallow rises. This is tallow we're skimming off the water. Good, clean tallow. Tyler says I'm nowhere near hitting the bottom yet, and if I don't fall all the way, I can't be saved. Jesus did it with his crucifixion thing. I shouldn't just abandon money and property and knowledge. This isn't just a weekend retreat. I should run from self-improvement, and I should be running toward disaster. I can't just play it safe anymore. This isn't a seminar. If you lose your nerve before you hit the bottom, Tyler says, you'll never really succeed. Only after disaster can we be resurrected. It's only after you've lost everything, Tyler says, that you're free to do anything. What I'm feeling is premature enlightenment. And keep stirring, Tyler says. When the fat's boiled enough that no more tallow rises, throw out the boiling water. Wash the pot and fill it with clean water. I ask, am I anywhere near hitting bottom? Where you're at now, Tyler says, you can't even imagine what the bottom will be like. Repeat the process with the skimmed tallow. Boil the tallow in the water, skim, and keep skimming. The fat we're using has a lot of salt in it, Tyler says. Too much salt and your soap won't get solid. Boil and skim. Boil and skim. Marla is back. The second Marla opens the screen door, Tyler is gone, vanished, run out of the room, disappeared. Tyler's gone upstairs, or Tyler's gone down to the basement. Poof. Marla comes in the back door with a canister of lye flakes. At the store they have 100% recycled toilet paper, Marla says. The worst job in the whole world must be recycling toilet paper. I take the canister of lye and put it on the table. I don't say anything. Can I stay over tonight? Marla says. I don't answer. I count in my head. 5 syllables, 7, 5. A tiger can smile. A snake will say it loves you. Lies make us evil. Marla says, what are you cooking? I am Joe's boiling point. I say go, just get out, okay? Don't you have a big enough chunk of my life yet? Marla grabs my sleeve and holds me in one place for the second it takes to kiss my cheek. Please call me, she says. Please, we need to talk. I say, yeah. The moment Marla is out the door, Tyler appears back in the room. Fast as a magic trick. My parents did this magic act for 5 years. I boil and skim while Tyler makes room in the fridge. Steam layers the air, and water drips from the kitchen ceiling. The 40-watt bulb hidden in the back of the fridge. Something bright I can't see behind the empty ketchup bottles and jars of pickle brine or mayonnaise. Some tiny light from inside the fridge edges Tyler's profile bright. Boil and skim. Boil and skim. Put the skimmed tallow into milk cartons with the tops opened all the way. With a chair pulled up to the open fridge, Tyler watches the tallow cool. In the heat of the kitchen, clouds of cold fog waterfall out from the bottom of the fridge and pool around Tyler's feet. As I fill the milk cartons with tallow, Tyler puts them in the fridge. I go to kneel beside Tyler in front of the fridge, and Tyler takes my hands and shows them to me. The lifeline, the love line, the mounds of Venus and Mars, the cold fog pooling around us, the dim bright light on our faces. I need you to do me another favor, Tyler says. This is about Marla, isn't it? Don't ever talk to her about me. Don't talk about me behind my back. Do you promise? Tyler says. I promise. Tyler says, if you ever mention me to her, you'll never see me again. I promise. Promise? I promise. Tyler says, now remember, that was 3 times that you promised. A layer of something thick and clear is collecting on top of the tallow in the fridge. The tallow, I say, it's separating. Don't worry, Tyler says. The clear layer is glycerin. You can mix the glycerin back in when you make soap. Or you can skim the glycerin off. Tyler licks his lips and turns my hands palm down on his thigh, on the gummy flannel lap of his bathrobe. You can mix the glycerin with nitric acid to make nitroglycerin, Tyler says. I breathe with my mouth open and say nitroglycerin. Tyler licks his lips wet and shining and kisses the back of my hand. You can mix the nitroglycerin with sodium nitrate and sawdust to make dynamite, Tyler says. The kiss shines wet on the back of my white hand. Dynamite, I say, and sit back on my heels. Tyler pries the lid off the can of lye. You can blow up bridges, Tyler says. You can mix the nitroglycerin with more nitric acid and paraffin to make gelatin explosives, Tyler says. You could blow up a building easy, Tyler says. Tyler tilts the can of lye an inch above the shining wet kiss on the back of my hand. This is a chemical burn, Tyler says. And it will hurt worse than you've ever been burned. Worse than 100 cigarettes. The kiss shines on the back of my hand. You'll have a scar, Tyler says. With enough soap, Tyler says, you could blow up the whole world. Now remember your promise. And Tyler pours the lye. Chapter 9. Tyler's saliva did 2 jobs. The wet kiss on the back of my hand held the flakes of lye while they burned. That was the first job. The second was lye only burns when you combine it with water. Or saliva. This is a chemical burn, Tyler said, and it will hurt more than you've ever been burned. You can use lye to open clogged drains. Close your eyes. A paste of lye and water can burn through an aluminum pan. A solution of lye and water will dissolve a wooden spoon. Combined with water, lye heats to over 200 degrees, and as it heats, it burns into the back of my hand. And Tyler places his fingers of one hand over my fingers, our hands spread on the lap of my blood-stained pants. And Tyler says to pay attention because this is the greatest moment of my life. Because everything up to now is a story, Tyler says, and everything after now is a story. This is the greatest moment of our life. The lie clinging in the exact shape of Tyler's kiss is a bonfire, or a branding iron, or an automatic pile meltdown on my hand, at the end of a long, long road I picture miles away from me. Tyler tells me to come back and be with him. My hand is leaving, tiny and on the horizon at the end of the road. Picture the fire still burning, except now it's beyond the horizon. A sunset. Come back to the pain, Tyler says. This is the kind of guided meditation they use at support groups. Don't even think of the word pain. Guided meditation works for cancer. It can work for this. Look at your hand, Tyler says. Don't look at your hand. Don't think of the word searing or flesh or tissue or charred. Don't hear yourself cry. Guided meditation. You're in Ireland. Close your eyes. You're in Ireland the summer after you left college, and you're drinking at a pub near the castle where every day busloads of English and American tourists come to kiss the Blarney Stone. Don't shut this out, Tyler says. Soap and human sacrifice go hand in hand. You leave the pub in a stream of men, walking through the beaded, wet car silence of streets where it's just rained. It's night, until you get to the Blarney Stone Castle. The floors in the castle are rotted away, and you climb the rock stairs with blackness getting deeper and deeper on every side with every step up. Everybody is quiet with the climb and the tradition of this little act of rebellion. Listen to me, Tyler says. Open your eyes. In ancient history, Tyler says, human sacrifices were made on a hill above a river. Thousands of people, listen to me. The sacrifices were made and the bodies were burned on a pyre. You can cry, Tyler says. You can go to the sink and run water over your hand, but first you have to know that you're stupid and you will die. Look at me. Someday, Tyler says, you will die, and until you know that, you're useless to me. You're in Ireland. You can cry, Tyler says, but every tear that lands in the live flakes on your skin will burn a cigarette burn scar. Guided meditation. You're in Ireland the summer after you left college. And maybe this is where you first wanted anarchy. Years before you met Tyler Durden. Before you peed in your first creme anglaise. You learned about little acts of rebellion. In Ireland. You're standing on a platform at the top of the stairs in a castle. We can use vinegar, Tyler says, to neutralize the burning, but first you have to give up. After hundreds of people were sacrificed and burned, Tyler says, a thick white discharge crept from the altar, downhill to the river. First you have to hit bottom. You're on a platform in a castle in Ireland with bottomless darkness all around the edge of the platform. And ahead of you, across an arm's length of darkness, is a rock wall. Rain, Tyler says, fell on the burnt pyre year after year. And year after year, people were burned, and the rain seeped through the wood ashes to become a solution of lye. And the lye combined with the melted fat of the sacrifices. And a thick white discharge of soap crept out from the base of the altar and crept downhill toward the river. And the Irish men around you in their little act of rebellion in the darkness, they walk to the edge of the platform and stand at the edge of the bottomless darkness and piss. And the men say, go ahead, piss your fancy American piss, rich and yellow with too many vitamins. Rich and expensive and thrown away. This is the greatest moment of your life, Tyler says, and you're off somewhere missing it. You're in Ireland. Oh, and you're doing it. Oh, yeah. Yes. And you can smell the ammonia in the daily allowance of B vitamins. Where the soap fell into the river, Tyler says, after 1,000 years of killing people and rain, the ancient people found their clothes got cleaner if they washed at that spot. I'm pissing on the Blarney Stone. Jeez, Tyler says. I'm pissing in my black trousers with the dried bloodstains my boss can't stomach. You're in a rented house on Paper Street. This means something, Tyler says. This is a sign, Tyler says. Tyler is full of useful information. Cultures without soap, Tyler says. They use their urine and the urine of their dogs to wash their clothes and hair because of the uric acid and ammonia. There's the smell of vinegar, and the fire on your hand at the end of the long road goes out. There's the smell of lye scalding the branch shape of your sinuses, and the hospital vomit smell of piss and vinegar. It was right to kill all those people, Tyler says. The back of your hand is swollen red and glossy as a pair of lips in the exact shape of Tyler's kiss. Scattered around the kiss are the cigarette burn spots of somebody crying. Open your eyes, Tyler says, and his face is shining with tears. Congratulations, Tyler says. You're a step closer to hitting bottom. You have to see, Tyler says, how the first soap was made of heroes. Think about the animals used in product testing. Think about the monkey shot into space. Without their death, their pain, without their sacrifice, Tyler says, we would have nothing. Chapter 10. I stop the elevator between floors while Tyler undoes his belt. When the elevator stops, the soup bowls stacked on the buffet cart start rattling, and steam mushrooms up to the elevator ceiling as Tyler takes the lid off the soup tureen. Tyler starts to take himself out and says, "Don't look at me or I can't go." The soup's a sweet tomato bisque with cilantro and clams. Between the two, nobody will smell anything else we put in. I say, "Hurry up," and I look back over my shoulder at Tyler with his last half-inch hanging in the soup. This looks in a really funny way like a tall elephant in a waiter's white shirt and bow tie, drinking soup through its little trunk. Tyler says, "I said don't look." The elevator door in front of me has a little face-sized window that lets me look out into the banquet service corridor. With the elevator stopped between floors, my view is about a cockroach above the green linoleum. And from here at cockroach level, the green corridor stretches toward the vanishing point, past half-open doors where titans and their gigantic wives drink barrels of champagne and bellow at each other, wearing diamonds bigger than I feel. Last week, I tell Tyler, when the Empire State lawyers were here for their Christmas party, I got mine hard and stuck it in all their orange mousses. Last week, Tyler says, he stopped the elevator and farted on a whole cart of Bocconi Dolce for the Junior League tea. That Tyler knows how a meringue will absorb odor. At cockroach level, we can hear the captive harpist make music as the titans lift forks of butterflied lamb chop, each bite the size of a whole pig, each mouth a tearing Stonehenge of ivory. I say go already. Tyler says, I can't. If the soup gets cold, they'll send it back. The giants, they'll send something back to the kitchen for no reason at all. They just want to see you run around for their money. A dinner like this, these banquet parties, they know the tip is already included in the bill, so they treat you like dirt. We don't really take anything back to the kitchen. Move the pomme parisienne and the asperge hollandaise around the plate a little, serve it to someone else, and all of a sudden it's fine. I say Niagara Falls, the Nile River. In school, we all thought if you put somebody's hand in a bowl of warm water while they slept, they'd wet the bed. Tyler says, "Oh." Behind me, Tyler says, "Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm doing it. Oh, yeah. Yes." Past half-open doors in the ballrooms off the service corridor, swish gold and black and red skirts as tall as the gold velvet curtain at the old Broadway theater. Now and again there are pairs of Cadillac sedans in black leather with shoelaces, where the windshield should be. Above the cars move a city of office towers and red cummerbunds. Not too much, I say. Tyler and me, we've turned into the guerrilla terrorists of the service industry. Dinner party saboteurs. The hotel caters dinner parties, And when somebody wants the food, they get the food and the wine and the china and glassware and the waiters. They get the works, all on one bill. Because they know they can't threaten you with a tip. To them, you're just a cockroach. Tyler, he did a dinner party one time. This was when Tyler turned into a renegade waiter. That first dinner party, Tyler was serving the fish course in this white and glass cloud of a house that seemed to float over the city, on steel legs attached to a hillside. Part of the way through the fish course, while Tyler's rinsing plates from the pasta course, the hostess comes in the kitchen holding a scrap of paper that flaps like a flag, her hand is shaking so much. Through her clenched teeth, Madame wants to know, did the waiters see any of the guests go down the hallway that leads to the bedroom part of the house? Especially any of the women guests. Or the host. In the kitchen, it's Tyler and Albert and Len and Jerry rinsing and stacking the plates, and a prep cook, Leslie, basting garlic butter on artichoke hearts stuffed with shrimp and escargot. "We're not supposed to go in that part of the house," Tyler says. We come in through the garage. All we're supposed to see is the garage, the kitchen, and the dining room. The host comes in behind his wife in the kitchen doorway and takes the scrap of paper out of her shaking hand. "This will be all right," he says. "How can I face those people," Madame says, "unless I know who did this?" The host puts a flat, open hand against the back of her silky white party dress that matches her house. Madame straightens up, her shoulders squared, and is all of a sudden quiet. "They are your guests," he says, "and this party is very important." This looks in a really funny way like a ventriloquist bringing his dummy to life. Madame looks at her husband, and with a little shove the host takes his wife back into the dining room. The note drops to the floor, and the two-way swish-swish of the kitchen door sweeps the note against Tyler's feet. Albert says, "What's it say?" Len goes out to start clearing the fish course. Leslie slides the tray of artichoke hearts back into the oven and says, "What's it say already?" Tyler looks right at Leslie and says, without even picking up the note, "I have passed an amount of urine into at least one of your many elegant fragrances." Albert smiles. "You pissed in her perfume?" "No," Tyler says. "He just left the note stuck between the bottles. She's got about 100 bottles sitting on a mirror counter in her bathroom." Leslie smiles. "So you didn't really?" "No," Tyler says. "But she doesn't know that." The whole rest of the night, in that white and glass dinner party in the sky, Tyler kept clearing plates of cold artichokes, then cold veal with cold pomme duchess, then cold chou-fleur à la polonaise from in front of the hostess, and Tyler kept filling her wine glass about a dozen times. Madame sat watching each of her women guests eat the food, until between clearing the sorbet dishes and serving the apricot gâteau, Madame's place at the head of the table was all of a sudden empty. They were washing up after the guests had left, loading the coolers and the china back into the hotel van, when the host came in the kitchen and asked, would Albert please come help him with something heavy? Leslie says maybe Tyler went too far. Loud and fast, Tyler says how they kill whales. Tyler says to make that perfume that costs more than gold per ounce. Most people have never seen a whale. Leslie has 2 kids in an apartment next to the freeway. Madame Hostess has more bucks than we'll make in a year in bottles on her bathroom counter. Albert comes back from helping the host and dials 911 on the phone. Albert puts a hand over the mouth part and says, "Man, Tyler shouldn't have left that note." Tyler says, "So tell the banquet manager, get me fired. I'm not married to this chicken shit job." Everybody looks at their feet. "Getting fired," Tyler says, "is the best thing that could happen to any of us. That way we'd quit treading water and do something with our lives." Albert says into the phone that we need an ambulance and the address. Waiting on the line, Albert says the hostess is a real mess right now. Albert had to pick her up from next to the toilet. The host couldn't pick her up because Madame says he's the one who peed in her perfume bottles, and she says he's trying to drive her crazy by having an affair with one of the women guests tonight, and she's tired of all the people they call their friends. The host can't pick her up, because Madame's fallen down behind the toilet in her white dress, and she's waving around half a broken perfume bottle. Madame says she'll cut his throat, he even tries to touch her. Tyler says, "Cool." And Albert stinks, Leslie says. "Albert, honey, you stink." "There's no way you can come out of that bathroom not stinking," Albert says. "Every bottle of perfume is broken on the floor, and the toilet is piled full of other bottles. They look like ice," Albert says, "like at the fanciest hotel parties where we have to fill the urinals with crushed ice." The bathroom stinks, and the floor is gritty with slivers of ice that won't melt. And when Albert helps Madame to her feet, her white dress wet with yellow stains, Madame swings the broken bottle at the host, slips in the perfume and broken glass, and lands on her palms. She's crying and bleeding, curled against the toilet. "Oh, and it stings," she says. "Oh, Walter, it stings. It's stinging," Madame says. The perfume, all those dead whales and the cuts in her hands, it stings. The host pulls Madame to her feet against him, Madame holding her hands up as if she were praying, but with her hands an inch apart and blood running down the palms, down the wrists, across a diamond bracelet, and to her elbows where it drips. And the host, he says, "It will be all right, Nina." "My hands, Walter," Madame says. "It will be all right." Madame says, "Who would do this to me? Who could hate me this much?" The host says to Albert, "Would you call an ambulance?" That was Tyler's first mission as service industry terrorist. Guerrilla waiter. Minimum wage despoiler. Tyler's been doing this for years, but he says everything is more fun as a shared activity. At the end of Albert's story, Tyler smiles and says, "Cool."